Hello hockey fans, and welcome to the Ultimate Hockey Experience. Today's video is on hockey terminology and some news from around the league, followed by my top 3 free agent signings of this offseason so far. For someone who may not be familiar with the sport of hockey, some of the terms used can be pretty confusing. Well, hopefully today I can clear that up for you. First off, we'll start with a dangle or deke. A dangle or deke is when a player makes a move with the puck around a defender or a goalie. Next is the snipe. A snipe is not just any shot, it's one that's shot through a tight spot or a hard shot going into one of the top corners of the net. And then third comes the celly. After you score your goal, you show the world how awesome you are by running around screaming like an idiot or jumping around like a 5-year-old kid, whatever floats your boat. The tools you'll need to perform this are a twig, which is known as the hockey stick. To hold this hockey stick, you'll need a set of mitts or gloves. And then to lace them all up finally, you need a bucket or your helmet. There are also 4 types of shots in hockey. The hardest in terms of velocity is a slap shot. A windup is required to take a slap shot, as demonstrated by my friend Alexander Ovechkin of the Washington Capitals. A slap shot to be as powerful, you have to hit down on the ice a couple of inches behind the puck, allowing the stick to flex and add more power to the shot. NHL players can shoot the puck in excess of 100 miles an hour, as you can see in the picture, the extreme flex that is produced by this shot. The second most powerful shot is a wrist shot. It also requires a windup, but your stick does not leave the ice. The puck is cradled behind you, and your weight is shifted backwards, and as you transfer your weight forward, you roll your wrists over and follow through. And this is going to be your most accurate shot. Now a snapshot is the third type of shot, and it's a hybrid of a wrist shot. A snapshot is simply a quick snapping of your wrists, and there is no wind-up for this shot. This shot is typically used when there is no time for a wind-up or the shot isn't there and it needed for a quick shot to beat the goalie. The final shot is the backhand. The backhand is self-explanatory. It's simply a shot off the back of the wrist, and it's the most difficult for the goalie to read, but also the hardest to control where it's going to be. Well, in order to complete the dangle, snipe, celly, you also need to know where to score on the goalie. There are 7 holes to score on the goalie. Most notably is the 5 hole, which is between the legs, which is the hardest place to score. So when you hear somebody say, "Oh, he scored through the 5 hole," you know they meant that they scored between the goalie's legs. Next we move on to that cool thing that goes on the ice between periods, the Zamboni. As you can see here, that some organizations have gotten pretty creative with their marketing of these machines. And lastly is the hip check. The hip check is one of the more exciting plays in hockey, but also the hardest type of check to land. When successful, these checks can be devastating to the opponent, often sending them upside down. However, you cannot hit the person below their knees to make this check. Contact must be made at or just below the hip, hence the name hip check. And now to hockey news. Recently in NHL headlines, the Todd Bertuzzi and Steve Moore lawsuit has finally come to a conclusion. All the way back in 2004, Todd Bertuzzi was involved in an incident with Steve Moore. Moore was on the receiving end of a sucker punch to the head from behind from Todd Bertuzzi that allegedly was made from retribution from a hit by Moore on the Canucks captain Marcus Naslund in a previous game. Bertuzzi attacked Moore from behind and tackled him down to the ice. Moore suffered a broken vertebrae and a concussion from this, and to this day still suffers from fatigue and headaches. According to a report out of Canada earlier this summer, Moore's lawyers sought to increase damages to $68 million. The case was scheduled to go to trial September 8th, but recently has been settled out of court. And now on to my top 3 signings and trades of the offseason. Coming in at number 3, the Blackhawks re-signing Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. The dynamic duo was set to become unrestricted free agents at the end of the 2015-16 season. Now, these two were both signed to $84 million contracts, ensuring the Blackhawks will remain competitive for the Cup for years to come. Coming in at number 2 is also the Chicago Blackhawks, and their signing of unrestricted free agent Brad Richards. Michael Handzus, who left the team as an unrestricted free agent, left a hole in the second-line center, which is going to be filled by the free agent signing of Brad Richards, whose production wasn't up to par for the Rangers, who ended up buying out his contract, leaving the opening for a 1-year, $2 million contract with the Blackhawks. And my number 1 signing of the offseason is the Anaheim's acquiring Ryan Kesler from the Vancouver Canucks. Now, in order to get Ryan Kesler, the Anaheim Ducks had to give up Nick Bonino, Lucas Sbisa, and 2 high draft picks. This dominant power forward center is going to find a nice home in the second-line center behind Ryan Getzlaf, ensuring the Anaheim Ducks will be a power to contend with in this season in the West. Thanks for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter at UHockeyEXP or on Facebook at facebook.com/UHockeyExperience. Thanks and enjoy.